From the dawn of the silver screen, the film review of a respectable movie critic has been a sacred bond between moviegoer and critic. Well, screw that! This useless film review comes from two idiots who don't know what they're talking about. Just like you.
Two dudes who don't know what the they're doing right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to Useless Reviews with two idiots. There's only one idiot here today because Irvin could not join us. But we have a special guest for you guys. I'd like to invite Cole Ewing onto the show. Cole has worked in a little bit of television, including Bella and the Bulldogs from Nickelodeon and Lab Rats. And he's even got his own fan club website. Cole, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, no problem. This is a totally great show, isn't it?
Man,
Production value.
I'm honored to kind of be your first guest.
I feel like I guest every week on this show. Anyways, so we just have a couple of quick questions for you. And first, I know, so you're an actor first and foremost, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's your first love.
Yeah, it's kind of why I moved out to Los Angeles in the first place, was to pursue acting in a more professional way. And that slowly branched off into other things. But yeah, I'd say acting is definitely my first love.
Oh, I didn't realize you weren't from Los Angeles. Where'd you move from?
So I'm from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, a town with more cows than people, and a lovely little place, but definitely just had to get out of there.
I can relate. Well, okay, I just got a couple quick questions for you because we don't want to take up too much of your time. As an actor, I'm just curious, what's the most challenging role you've played?
Oh man, that's really hard. I feel like acting doesn't come extremely natural to me. It's something that I've worked really hard at. So there's definitely not a role that's come with ease. But, I did a short film really early on where I played a kid who was pretty heavily bullied and borderline suicidal. And that was...
Sounds like my autobiography.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate then, because it was challenging. Most definitely, it was definitely challenging. So, I would say that was a short film that I did pretty early on.
How did that role challenge you? Just out of curiosity.
I think it just dealt with things that I had never really identified with before. Things like depression and getting heavily bullied and suicidal thoughts and cutting myself were things that as a 12-year-old I had never even really contemplated. So to have to take all those brand new things and put them into a kid who struggles with them every single day, that was just new. It was different for me. It wasn't... Yeah, I hadn't tasted any of that prior to filming, so...
Oh, okay. That's really interesting, actually. Okay, so that leads to another question that's actually not on my list. Do you consider yourself a method actor? And if not, what do you do to get yourself into the moment when you're about to shoot?
Man, that's a great question. I don't fully identify with method acting just because I don't know everything about method acting. I don't think I've dove deep enough into method acting even to know what it is in its entirety. I think my approach to acting and taking on a character is just finding the truth of that character through whatever means is necessary. Just trying to view that character as a human being and trying to be as truthful to their story as I can be. It's sort of like a lawyer trying to do justice for their client. In the same way that a lawyer does that, I try and take this person and I feel like I have a responsibility to tell their story in a truthful way. So, sure, I mean, sometimes it does require a method approach of literally trying to put myself in that person's shoes. But, yeah, I definitely don't subscribe to the idea of if I'm going to play a bank robber, I need to go out and rob a string of Chase Banks in order to fully feel the character. So I think it's, to answer your question, I feel like it's appropriate in some aspects of acting, but I myself have not gone like Daniel Day-Lewis style with it.
Okay, yeah, no problem. And it sounds like you've had some better lawyers than I've had. Okay, well, I have an interesting question for you. I think everyone out here in Hollywood has a moment where they almost gave up on their dream. When was that for you?
That's every Tuesday. That's been a lot of times. I can't say that I just had one moment in particular. I've had a couple moments of leaving to go back home and just feeling like that was it. I think especially as an actor, I'm kind of learning this more in the filmmaking side now, but definitely as an actor, you can go out for 3, 4, 5 auditions a week and get told no on every single one of them. And especially after investing so much time into each of those roles, it just takes a toll on you after 3 months of only hearing no. So, when I first came out to California, I had a really close group of friends when I was about 12 or 13. There were about 10 of us that all came out here and were pursuing our dreams full throttle. And just over the years, slowly, one by one, each of those friends has sort of given up on their dreams and headed back home. And I think I just kind of told myself early on that as long as I love this, I'm going to find some way to be able to keep doing it, even if it looks different than it has in the past. So, but yeah, even at moments in my career when I had some form of quote unquote success, you still doubt even within those moments. You still feel discouragement. Things still don't feel the way you think they should feel. So I think doubt is just a large part of being an artist, and being honest with yourself.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, man. Well, speaking of being an artist and being honest with yourself, I got a question for you. I think everybody has a passion project or a type of project that they would love to work on. And whether, I know you're also learning to become a filmmaker, but whether it's as a filmmaker or an actor, what's your passion project?
Oh man, that's a great question. That's a really great question. I think I ultimately aspire to do something that can pay homage to my family and particularly my brother in some way. I don't really know what that looks like, but I know that my family and my brother have made up a large part of who I feel like I am today. So in some form or another, without going into too much detail, I hope one day to be able to create some form of art that recognizes them and recognizes my brother and pays homage to them in some way. I just have no clue what that looks like, but if I had to name a passion project, I would say that's probably it.
Well, that's really unique. Do you have a career goal? Like, what's the moment in your career where you'd be like, yeah, I made it? What's that look like for you?
I think success is a really tricky thing, because I feel like as soon as you achieve what your desired success is, you can always, the sky is the limit. I think for me, at this point in my life, success for me would sort of look like being able to support my family through the entertainment industry, and just being able to get up and go to work every day and do what I love to do and not have to think of film or acting as a sort of side project.
Absolutely, man. I think I totally get that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and because it's so easy to say, well, as soon as I make $5 million, then I'm going to feel successful, because then what happens when you hit $5 million and you're not happy, you know? It just kind of always leads you wanting more. So I try and set my expectations low anyway.
That's true. I set my expectations as low as possible. You know?
Yeah.
As long as you always expect the worst, you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Well, actually, I've learned that, like, I've hit so low that, like, I have been disappointed even though I had no expectations. But that's a story for another time. Cole, tell us, what are you working on now, or is there any projects coming up soon for you? What's on the horizon for the excellent actor Cole Ewing?
Oh man, I wouldn't say that, but I'm trying. I'm kind of experimenting with writing for the first time in my life. I've never considered myself to be a writer, and never really had a desire to write. But I think you've inspired me a lot to pick up the pen and paper and think that some of those thoughts in my head can be valid. So I'm gonna try this writing thing out and see where it takes me.
Oh, wow. I've never met a writer who was inspired by a humble podcast host before, but I'm flattered.
You got to get your people filled in on what you're doing.
Yeah, no kidding. What are you writing on? Can you tell us?
I can't right now, unfortunately. It's a project highly under wraps.
Oh, it's all that legal stuff. I got you. Don't worry.
My agent would get upset at me, and that's just something I can't afford right now in my career. But
are there any acting gigs on the horizon for you, or anything going on with your filmmaking?
No, I think maybe on the filmmaking side as I'm moving through film school right now. But on the acting side, I'm taking a little break. I'm trying to kind of set it down for a little bit and see how much I really miss it, and hopefully come back even stronger than before. So yeah, I'm going to film school right now and learning a lot from that, and so I'm going to see where that takes me.
Well, that's great, man. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and tune in next week when Urban and I review the greatest movie of all time. That's right, 17 again.
Zac Efron classic.
All right, well, thank you, Cole, and I hope to have you on again soon.
All right, thanks, Jared. Talk to you soon.